Hello, Brian Larson, founder and creator of Kingsman Academy and Kingsman Strong. So have you ever noticed how you'll fluctuate around a certain body weight? Or even you'll fluctuate how your body looks to you in the mirror. It's the old term of you feel like you go on a diet, you'll see results, and you'll rebound. It's the yo-yo diet. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, there's so many theories behind this. You can read dozens and dozens of things. But what I want to do to you in this video is give you a little insight of what I've really noticed and what I believe this to be. Is what I call it, I will have you consider that it's due to our standards. It's due to the standards that we have for ourselves. I remember when I was, what I would call for me, overweight, a little puffy. I had like love handles that I wanted to get rid of so bad. And I would always put on weight just a little bit around my belly button. So belly button, like my lower stomach and my love handles. Could never see more than maybe a half and a half. Okay, the half top row. Other than when I was in athletics and football. But anyway, it's just like I could not get rid of it. It would just, I'd get a little to this point, and then it would come down and start to see it, and then I'd go back up and here, and it's just like wavering through here. And what I term this issue, this problem, is called standard dancing. All right, standard yo-yo dieting, whatever you want to call it. So it's not like a yo-yo dieting thing. Is what it is what we've done is simply we have our standard. If I can draw this out, I should have a drawing thing. If we have a standard, our standard's right here. All right, so here's our standard body weight, or if we have the standard, we look in the mirror, it's like, okay, I don't look that bad. Is you feel this little like leeway. So unconsciously, you're eating into this set point, this standard that you set for yourself, and all of a sudden, you get to a point. Have you ever gotten to a point where it's like, oh my God, I look freaking disgusting, or this is enough is enough. This is terrible. What do? You go on a diet. All right, now all you're doing is like, okay, you give yourself this buffer of your set point, whether it's set weight or your set body. You start to creep to it or creep out of it, and then that's enough is enough. The pain is too much of being in that position where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get down to my set point. And a lot of times you get really good results, and it's like you go below your set point, you start looking pretty dang good. Now what happens is you start to slack a little bit because you have this huge buffer here you got to play with because of where your standard is. It's like, I can have those chips. I can have that ice cream now. I can go to the movie theater and get pretzel bites, 100% guilty. I can, have that extra plate. I can go and get that fruity cocktail instead of getting my Michelob Ultra Light. So those are all things that we do, and we're doing them most of the time unconsciously. And the only reason we're doing them unconsciously is because within this buffer range, everything's fine. All right, but if we start to, again, what happens is we start to creep back to it. We start to creep back to our standards. Like, it's not too bad yet. You keep doing what you're doing. It starts to creep up. It's like, God, that diet didn't work. Look, I'm starting to get fat again. Got all this fat around here, and everything's okay. And then you creep out of that buffer again. All right, so what's happening is we're sitting there and we're dancing with our standard. We just keep going up and down, and many will say it's because diets don't work. It's yo-yo dieting. That's complete bullshit. All it is two things are going on. I'll have you consider this and use yourself as an example, is the standards. Because I did not see any progress. The funny thing about it is I was a personal trainer for 8.5 years. I studied nutrition, I studied performance, I studied kinesiology, exercise science, all of that. For the majority of my life, I knew exactly what to do, but it never would actually work when I was at that position. And I'll show you before and after photos of what I'm talking about here. But I got to a point where it's just like, I started to lose the body fat, and I just kept reestablishing my set point, my standard here. If you want to reverse it, it'd probably be up. I had higher standards for myself. So it was like, No longer was I accepting to have a little bit extra here. And it was just a mental, conscious awareness of like knowing, okay, I'm gonna reset this. If I'm having results, it's not like, oh yay, I'm having results, I can go back to, you know, my buffer zone. It's no, okay, that's my new set point here. Being 198 at whatever body fat percent, being able to see 2 abs in the mirrors, that's my standard. Yeah, I would encourage you to use that if you are looking specifically aesthetics. But the other aspect of this, you might be saying, you know, you're not supposed to worry about body type. You know, okay, first of all, whatever. But second of all is base it off of how you feel. So many people have standards of, you know, to put it frankly, of feeling like shit. And I was guilty as charged. I thought I felt good, that my standard of feeling good was not having 2 crashes throughout the day. If your standard is 10:30 comes and you're kind of sluggish, that's normal. And 2:30 comes, you're kind of sluggish, that's normal. You get home from work and it's like, all you want to do is sit down, put your feet up and watch TV. That's your standard. You know, that's what's going to occur. You're not going to feel good. You're not going to feel that vibrancy. You're not going to feel that energy. So I would just encourage you to reset your standards of how you should feel throughout the day. If you could give a shit less about your body, base it off of how you want to feel, where your energy levels should be. Set that standard there. Don't do the yo-yo dancing there too. Set that standard high where you should feel completely energized and enthused, sustained throughout the day. That's your standard. Because if you dip, it's okay. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I obviously didn't, maybe I didn't do my meditation, maybe I didn't do my breathing techniques, maybe I didn't have the right foods, I didn't get enough greens, vitamins, whatever that is. All right, so that's number 1 is simply standards. Number 2 is I had both things going against me. And I would strongly, be willing to bet that most people that aren't satisfied or feeling good, or if they're out of shape, they're overweight, if they're unhealthy, feel like crap, low energy, is they have both these things going on. The standards. Number 2 is their identity. What we have as an identity is going to be in direct relationship to how we behave, our actions. And to put this into an analogy, one of the ones I like to use is you take someone that believes that their identity, their identity is they're a daredevil. So what do you think the chances are that somebody comes up to them and gives them an opportunity to represent and remain consistent to their identity with giving them an option to go skydiving? You think he's going to say no? He'll jump at it right on the dot, because human behavior is you want to remain consistent with who you think you are, who your identity is. And here's the issue, is most of us have identities that were shaped or conditioned during young adulthood or even as kids through society, parenting, whatever it is, that we never as an adult consciously said, you know what, who do I want to actually be? And we've lived in these identities our entire lives without actually saying, are these identities actually serving the greater good of my life? Person that has the identity of, which is a typical one, the fat funny guy or the overweight funny guy, is they have this identity in there that's who they are, yet when they have an opportunity to be funny, they're going to be funny because they want to remain consistent in alignment to what they feel their identity is. Do you feel like they're going to have a top of their mind thought when they have a buffet option or a salad option? That's not their identity. Their identity is not being a healthy, health-conscious person. Their identity, example is, again, if you're an athlete, which was the identity that I had as I was an athlete, I'm going to actually do things that are in alignment with being athletic, being competitive, doing high intensity like lifting, sports stuff. And the other problem is the identity that I had being a linebacker in college football was you eat big to get big. And so that was identified into my head. I'm this athlete, I'm a football player, I'm a middle linebacker. I gotta be big, buff, and beefy. And man, did I, yes, I was big, buff, and beefy at a point. And so it's just being consciously aware of understanding is who are you identifying as? What's your identity? Are you aware of it? And to say that, that's just how you're born is complete fabrication, right? Neuroplasticity shows that we have, you can mold into what you want intentionally. And it's a decision. You want to be a health conscious person, you simply keep conditioning it into your mind. You keep implanting it, and that was a transition I made. I made to I'm actually going to be more of a health conscious person, more concerned about how these foods make me feel, raising my standard of energy, raising my standard of aesthetics, how I actually wanted to look and perform, all that aligned together. So I raised my standards and I changed my identity. And what happens is your behaviors are in alignment to that new formed identity because you've subconsciously planted in there. Is it going to happen in one day? You're going to wake up tomorrow and go from a party jokester to a health conscious green eater? No. But if you keep planting that in there the exact same way that it got implanted in your head, by time after time, someone telling you, or you keep doing certain behaviors, that it became who you are, your identity, is exactly how you can change it. So if you're someone that's yo-yo dieting, or if you're someone that's your energy levels are all over the place, you're not happy with the energy, you're not happy with your body, where you're at, do those two things. Raise your standards. That takes a moment to do. Raise those standards, have new expectations for where you're supposed to be. Have enough is enough point right now, and change your identity. By simply, you can focus on that, visualize that before night, waking up in the morning, writing down, I am health conscious. I am someone that eats healthy. Whatever you want to claim that as, you get to consciously do that as an adult to be whoever you are and not live passively through previous identities that you have adapted throughout your life. So use those two tips. Remember that whenever you're feeling your things aren't where you want them to be, go back and ask yourself, self-reflect. What are my standards? Where are my standards at? Whether I know them or not, recreate them. And what's the identity that I'm forming with to make as my own? Use those two tips. Let me know how you do. Hope that helped you, because it helped the heck out of me, and I'll show you those photos if I didn't already show you. I'll show them after to show you the physical aspect that I had, the transformation, but also overall performance, feeling absolutely amazing, better than I ever have in my life. Hey there, this is Brian again. Real quick, if you're looking for answers, programs, coaching, and training to take your body to that new level, to that badass level, so you can look, feel, and perform better, I encourage you to click this link and become part of the VIP members only brand new program, a monthly membership program, Kingsman Strong. Click that link, reserve your spot, so you can learn more about this program to help you do just that.